Hello guys, 2023 is coming to an end. How has your 2023 been? I would say mine has been pretty good. I've had a good year, traveled the world, I've been growing Atrium along with you guys. And overall, I think the fragrance industry itself has also had a pretty good year in 2023. There have been some very good releases. Not all releases have been good. For example, I've tried the new YSL Myslf recently. You know, some people were giving it some praise. No, it's a no from me. I think it's a really underwhelming fragrance. But that's not what this video is about. This is the video that's going to discuss the best fragrance releases of 2023, kind of summarizing all the good stuff that's come from this year. There have some really good scents, and I think it's always good to celebrate new creativity and new ideas in the industry. So that is why I want to highlight these 8 fragrances to you guys. Let's begin. Our own fragrance brand, Atrium Fragrance, will be releasing its own office fragrance called Mr. Elegance. More information regarding this release will be coming in the next few weeks. Make sure you click the link in the description below to be signed up for notifications for when this release is available. It's only going to be available to purchase for 1 week only as a pre-order during the last week of January. So make sure you sign up so you do not miss out. Hugo Boss Bottled Elixir. I tried this at the airport recently and I acquired a full bottle very soon afterwards. This is a massive hit. I was really surprised. I did not want to try this out because I've been disappointed time and time again by Hugo Boss. They just put out really bad flankers 95% of the time. And I would say their last good release that I used to love from them was Hugo Boss Bottled Intense, which is now discontinued. So I kind of thought that that's it. Hugo Boss is a write-off as a brand. There's nothing good in there anymore. But then this got a lot of good reviews online. I said, okay, let me just try it on the back of my hand from the airport. Fell in love immediately. Now, there are some people who say this kind of smells like the Dior Sauvage Elixir. I can kind of see why they would say that. To me, this fragrance is the Dior Sauvage Elixir calmed down. They're not clones at all by any means, but it kind of has a similar feeling of Sauvage Elixir, where this sort of feels a little bit fuzzy and hazy in its texture, which is kind of charming. It's part of the charm of Sauvage Elixir and has that woodiness as well. This fragrance is also spicy, it's also warm, and it's more vanillic. It is a more sexy and smooth alternative to Sauvage Elixir, let's say, not a clone again. So this is spicy, warm, vanillic, a little bit fuzzy, woody, and just very attractive. They've really taken the idea of something like Sauvage Elixir and really just smoothed it out. This is a very smooth cold weather signature, which I think can work for most age groups, maybe be 20 years old and above. And it just smells very sexy. It's kind of like the kind of guys who liked things like Armani Code Absolute, which is now discontinued. If you like that fragrance, and you like the idea of having this this thick, heavy, long-lasting vanillic fragrance that's sort of like a signature you can wear both in the day and night, Hugo Boss Bottled Elixir will be your best friend. I got this for like £50, something like this. It's really extremely good as a price tag. I think this is excellent. I think nowadays, you know, if you don't like Sauvage Elixir, I usually recommend Lattafa's Assad as your cheap alternative, but actually I think spend a little bit more and get Boss Bottled Elixir instead. Not a clone, but this is a fantastic winter scent in and of itself. As a winter fragrance, I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Mal Elixir, another fantastic release. This to me is if Xerjoff's Naxos and Parfum de Marly's Pegasus came together, had a baby, and then became designer. Very mainstream, safe, mass appealing. So it's like a powdery vanilla fragrance mixed with a bit of honey. It's like a honeyed out powdery vanilla scent. It's loud, it's simple, but it's very mass appealing, very sexy. I think this is a great fragrance for clubbing. Nowadays, I would say things like Versace Eros or Jean-Paul Gaultier's Ultra Mal feel a little bit behind in the times now for something like clubbing. Nowadays, I recommend something like Azar's The Most Wanted or Le Mal Elixir. Very simple, but sexy, long-lasting, loud, sweet fragrance. 32% of people who watch School of Scent are subscribed to us. If you guys want to see our channel grow, to really help us out, click subscribe. Let's get that number to 40%. Thank you. Mancera's Red Tobacco Intense. I did a whole video review on this recently. So when I first saw the name of this fragrance, Red Tobacco Intense, I was a little bit shook, as I imagine most of us were, because red tobacco itself is extremely intense already as it is. So a name like this kind of makes you a little bit intrigued, a little bit worried, because how much stronger can a fragrance like that get? However, I don't think this is necessarily a more intense version of red tobacco. It's more of a different, more smoothed out version of red tobacco. They've really calmed down the projection a little bit. They calmed down the smoky ashiness of that tobacco and made the tobacco here instead more smooth. This is sort of like when people said, oh, you know, the original red tobacco is like Carlisle. I never saw it, but this is a little bit closer to the quality of Carlisle, in my opinion. It's better quality, it's smoother, softer in its projection, and it's more of a 12 hours long-lasting fragrance instead of a 24-hour long-lasting fragrance. So to me, that's a good thing. This makes red tobacco more wearable, better quality, better blended. I think this is a definite improvement over the original. CH Men Pasion. This is a really good release as well. Now, I was really surprised by this. This was in a video where I was kind of reviewing lots of different other new fragrances. I wasn't expecting this to stand out. I was just like, yeah, whatever. Carolina Herrera. Again, similar to Hugo Boss, I've kind of been disappointed by their bad boy line in general, so I kind of didn't have high expectations for this release. Very nice, pleasant stuff. Not the longest lasting fragrance, lasts about 6 hours, but it's a very pleasant sandalwood scent. If you want a mainstream, beginner-friendly entry into sandalwood, this is the fragrance to do it. It's sort of like they took the evening iris DNA of a lot of popular mainstream fragrances now and kind of combined it with the nice masculine sandalwood note. I like both of these notes. I think it works really well together. It's CH Men Pasion, which is very smooth, very easy to like, while still standing out a little bit. It's a little bit unique. I like it. It's a very nice evening scent in general. Use it all year round, apart from maybe the summertime. I think it's just a really great fragrance to get into these notes, so check it out if you haven't already. Mancera's Amore Caffe. Really pleasantly surprised by this fragrance. Mancera is usually a brand that doesn't always click with me. Oh, that actually clicked right there. But Mancera itself is often quite a synthetic brand, which I quite dislike. I'm quite critical of them often for that. I was quite critical in our buying guide for the brand itself as well. But this is really a good direction for the brand to go into. I feel like they're using higher quality naturals. They're more smooth with their blend. They take more time with their fragrance, I feel like they really blended this very lovingly. I feel like they really took their time with Amore Caffe. It's a very interesting concept that was done very well also. When you compare this to something like Oud Cafe by the same brand, I feel like this is actually an interesting coffee fragrance. It has interesting notes like coffee, vanilla, ice cream, brown sugar, and amaretto liqueur in here as some of the notes. So it's a coffee gourmand fragrance that smells balanced. It doesn't smell annoying. It smells really sexy. I always kind of say, like, if you enjoy fragrances like Tom Ford's Noir Extreme, a really sexy, interesting, full of character, softly projecting date night fragrance, this is the fragrance for you. It's also unisex like Tom Ford Noir Extreme. They're not clones at all, but I'm just saying people who like that will probably like this also. So if you want a sexy, evening-esque, coffee-based, interesting, creative fragrance with a soft projection, 8 hours longevity for cold weather, I got a full bottle of this for a reason. Valentino Uomo's Born in Roma Intense. Now, I got to try this fragrance recently. I got a sample of it within the last few days, which I've managed to wear about 2 or 3 times now. So quite a few full wearings. It's a nice fragrance. I wasn't a huge fan of the original Born in Roma. I kind of said that fragrance was kind of very similar to DNG's King Eau de Parfum. It's a very much a bubblegum-esque fragrance, but not as long-lasting. Born in Roma Intense feels like it is that bubblegum-esque DNA of Invictus mixed with the amber-heavy DNA of Stronger With You. I feel like they've mixed them together and made a baby in Born in Roma Intense. So it's that kind of vibe, those two vibes mixed together. I think it's a really pleasant and sexy fragrance. It's getting a lot of hype online. I don't think it deserves that much hype. Like, if I had to give it a score, I might give it an 8.5 out of 10, but it's a very sexy, mass appealing fragrance that you can wear both in the day and night, most of the year round. Most people will love it, and it's got decent longevity, around 6 to 8 hours maybe, with a medium projection. So it's a very sexy fragrance. I kind of feel like if you enjoy the sex appeal of Born in Roma Intense, you should go for a fragrance like Aaron Terence Hughes Hard Candy. I kind of feel like they have similar vibes. And lastly, Amouage Jubilation 40. Now, for transparency, Amouage did send this bottle in to me themselves. However, I think this is a triumph of a fragrance. This is Jubilation 25, one of the most popular fragrances, now amped up to a 40% fragrance oil concentration, which is just ludicrous. One of the highest oil concentrations you ever find in a fragrance, similar to their series of other similar flankers like Interlude 53 or Reflection 45. So those numbers represent the fragrance oil concentration. This is luxurious. It smells beautiful. It's one of the best signatures you can ever wear in your life if you have the money. Of course, this is a £400 fragrance, so it better smell great. But I do think they're using fantastic ingredients. It smells expensive, very well balanced, very easy to like. Not all of Amouage's stuff is very easy to enjoy. Some of them might be more challenging. So Jubilation 40 still has that mass appeal of Jubilation 25 while still smelling luxurious, being versatile. This is fairly long lasting, just over 8 hours with a soft and medium projection. I did take some points off it in my review by giving it an 8.5 out of 10, just due to the fact that for £400, I wish this performed a little bit better, which makes it, questionable. Should you spend that much money, something like this, if it's not acing it in every single category? I wonder. But if it got those things correct as well, I think this would be an easy 10 out of 10 fragrance. It is spectacular. The scent is wonderful. And if you can sample it, I definitely recommend you do so. And that concludes this video, guys. What are your thoughts on the year of 2023? How has it been for you personally? And how do you think it's been for fragrances in general? Do you think there have been some outstanding releases from this year in particular? If you do, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out our previous video on Mancera's Cosmic Pepper, another new release from this year. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.